Uh, do you?
Christ, the last I heard, I was being asked about trading full time,
Oh
right? And
shit!
what full time
Oh
means. I think
man.
that's what I heard anyway. Yeah, long fucking time. And I guess I know it must sound absurd. My answer is at the moment, yeah. And what does full time mean? Well, I guess it means a primary source of income, right?
Mhm,
That has
mhm,
to be the definition.
mhm. I caught the ruffling joke.
At least that's what makes sense to me. Yeah, and the fucking referling joke. Yeah, Christ. They
That
even get me started on the fucking referling shit, man.
you have a bone to pick.
I'm here.
God damn it! Sorry, cred.
Not really a bone to pick
Uh,
per se. Um, it's just I think people underestimate first of all how many well fucking how much money some of the bigger accounts make off ref links.
mhm.
And secondly, how reliant they are on those ref links for a fucking significant chunk of their income, right?
Mhm.
And also just from a purely legal point of view, illegal shit,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
So it's just a very fucking messy topic, mate. You know.
Yeah. Fair enough. Do you think regulation will crack down on that very soon?
What about you? Do you have a bone to pick with our ref linking friends?
Nah, I couldn't. That'd be very. What's the word?
Hypocritical.
Hypocritical. Thanks, cred. Yeah.
What do you show?
At the moment, just Bybit.
Fucking everyone's on Bybit, mate.
Yeah. Yeah. I
No,
guess.
I mean in terms of regulation and shit. I
Mhm.
mean, it depends, man. In the UK, it's kind of grey area right now. So spot crypto doesn't fall under the regulatory, well, under the regulatory regime we have. So the Financial Services and Markets Act primarily.
Mhm.
But then once you start getting into futures, derivatives, and kind of synthetic products, it gets really fucking itchy, right?
Okay.
Um, so I mean, I personally am kind of staying far away just to be on the
Yeah.
safer side. But I mean, I get people who do it, right? It's whatever. It's just some people kind of make they will write really stupid shit to generate engagement,
Mhm.
and then you think, oh, this tweet's retarded, but it's got a lot of likes, and then you'll click on it and you'll see that there's a follow-up tweet with a ref link,
Yeah.
right? So some people are purely like kind of engineering engagement and making tweets just to fucking shove their ref link down people's throats, which is, I mean, just looks ugly.
Mhm. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. I like how you see things. You're very calculated. Sorry, I had to drink some water.
I think people give me too much fucking credit in that regard.
Well, they shouldn't.
People give me way too much fucking credit,
Oh, they
especially
give you
like I
too
don't know,
much.
like even after, dude, I was even talking to Tunes, right? I
Mhm.
was chatting to Tunes in DM, and he was being really nice, being like, "Oh, you know, your macro play, you've nailed it, you've built this." I'm like, dude, I mean, there's no fucking great architect behind any of this shit, right? I've just kind of gone by day and had a certain way of doing things, but it's not some fucking pre-planned great, you know, war general art of war bullshit where I've planned out every single move. It's
Sun
just
Tzu.
like I'm just fucking 22-year-old dude making, you know, getting by. There's nothing
You're gonna
special.
say make it
Um
back. That's what you're gonna say. Just kidding. But yeah, getting
yeah,
by doing.
all my fucking ref link money.
Dude, tell me a bit about the newsletter. What can people expect to see in there? Have you guys like?
Well, you'll fucking see if slash when it comes out, mate. I'm not gonna use your live stream to promote something that fuck knows when it's coming out. So
Oh, okay, okay, all right, fair enough. I was curious what I'd find, but I'll gladly wait.
I mean charts.
Charts, okay, so it's not only gonna be theoretical. Market updates.
No,
Sick.
pretty much be only charts. Christ,
Hey
no, it's
you,
just fucking
welcome back
charts, man. Yeah,
to. Shit, that's why I don't do newsletters,
basic
man.
shit.
I don't know what goes in there. I'm leaving that to you.
Yeah,
I'm leaving it to you
no,
guys.
of course. No, newsletter is just a fucking noun we use to describe it. It'll just be a fucking email with charts in it, man.
Hmm. Fair enough.
I think so many people try to hype the shit out of total shit that they build. Like they basically have a paid bullshitty platform, and they're like, "Holy fuck, we've got this like mega comprehensive education signal community and just fucking every word possible. Kind of like, I don't know, trying to sell you a house or something. You know, it's like most of the time there's nothing
Oh,
awfully spectacular
yeah.
about
It,
the product you're getting.
Hey
it
you,
reminds me
welcome
of
to
that
Back to TV.
dude from this morning. I don't know his name. He's
Oh,
nine.
darkness. Oh,
Yeah,
dark energy or some shit. Oh,
yeah.
man.
Hey you,
Yeah, that
welcome
was
to Back to
appalling.
TV.
What I don't understand, and this is a really uncomfortable trend, but it seems to be the way to do things. When people monetize some aspect of their Twitter, whatever social media bullshit, which is fine in itself for the most part, no one ever does it with their kind of fucking chest out. Do you know what I mean? Because if you're going to do it properly, the way you do it is you're like, you know what? I've invested my
Yeah.
time, resources, expertise into this. I believe it's a good product that's worth your money, and here's a fucking opportunity to get involved. Right? That's how you actually do it if you have any fucking faith in yourself and what you're trying to sell these people. Whereas most people, they end up playing victim while they take people's money, which is fucking absurd, right? Like if you think back, I mean, obviously we're never gonna name any names, but you just think back of like maybe 5, 10 of the recent ones you think, there's a common thread where they're fucking apologetic about it, you know? And they're like, I really don't want to do this, and I wish I could keep everything free until the end of time, but here's my fucking paid Discord, you know? And they kind of play the victim, and it's like, why should I have to sympathize with you? No one's pointing a gun to your head. You're about to start earning 10, 20, 30K a month for posting fucking charts in the Discord, and you want me to feel sorry for you? Who's the fucking victim here? And it's just a really weird
Hey,
trend,
you.
man.
Welcome to
It
Back to
comes off
TV.
the wrong way. Oh, they either do that, either play victim, or they just fucking lie, right? Like the guy this morning, he was like, "Oh, pay me 9,000 for mentoring." And people ask me why I want to do this. Well, I really love teaching, and teaching will make me a better trader. It's like, dude, so what am I supposed to think? The $9,000 you earn per person on top of your paid fucking group, the money you're going to be making has nothing to do with it? I mean, fuck me, right? At least have the decency to just do the obvious thing and say, oh yeah, this will also help me make some fucking money. It's a sustainable business model and take some edge off my trading. I'd have a lot more respect for someone who looks me in the eye when they fuck me than someone who doesn't even have the decency to tell me that they're going to fuck me, you know?
Yeah. Why do you think CT has been conditioned to come from the back foot when introducing paid services? Do you think it's because of the
Because
environment?
most of them have been fucking scammy and terrible.
Okay.
I think most of them are scammy and terrible, and people are just conditioned in that way to think that it's a fucking scam. But I think it's kind of evolved beyond that, where people there was a big push in. I mean, it was kind of 17, quite hard in mid and early 18, where it was the whole thing like all paid groups are scams. Every single real trader makes their money from trading. Da 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 da. And there was a certain point where people actually used that specific premise for marketing. So, funnily enough, a lot of the people with paid groups now, a year ago, if that, were saying, "Oh, paid groups are all scams. I make my money from trading. Follow my free forever lifetime Telegram." Da, 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 da. Use that as a marketing line, and then just fucking pull the rug. I think it's two things. One is purely based on precedent or history. Loads of these paid services have been fucking shit. So there's like an innate skepticism.
Yeah.
But I think secondly, it's kind of gone beyond that to where there was kind of a big social consensus built around the fact that they're all scams and shitty without even giving them, any chance to prove otherwise. And people just felt comfortable agreeing to that. And obviously, I think it's a slightly smaller factor, but still worth mentioning. It's a timing and a jealousy thing. So a lot of people were getting really fucking wrecked on Bitcoin, altcoins, whatever, just shitting money and watching their portfolios just shit down the drain.
Yeah.
And then they see someone on Twitter who's like building a business or making money doing something else while they're losing money every day. That juxtaposition really makes some people fucking angry, And often what you'll find is the people who complain the loudest about, oh, this guy's a sellout, shill, he's got paid this, paid that, etc. Typically, they would be the ones who would be the first ones through the fucking door to monetize, make a paid group, whatever, if they were in that position or had that opportunity, right? kind of the biggest hypocrites in that regard. So yeah, I think it's a factor of things. Some reasonable, like the history of those groups just being fucking scammed. Some slightly less reasonable. But yeah, you're right that either way, causes or not, there's definitely a kind of back foot approach to it. But as I said, the first thing I said, the people don't help themselves when they do it. Like, your audience knows that you're about to start making fucking bank off your Discord, whatever else it is, etc. Don't play the victim. Don't pretend like you're the one losing out or sacrificing something or somehow disadvantaged by that outcome, because it's literally the opposite of the truth, right?
Mm-hmm. That's a really good point, actually.
So my advice would be, if you're going to fucking do it, obviously be competent enough and have something to offer and, come from a good place, but just do it with your fucking chest out. Not in a scammy way, like, oh, this is the best thing ever, I'm going to make you rich, etc. But just present your fucking product for what it is. You don't need a sob story, you don't need a backstory or any of that bullshit. Just tell let people know what it is that you've got to offer, and if they want to fucking get involved, great. But don't try to masquerade it,
Mm-hmm. I have a quick question, going back to price action really quickly.
Yeah, of course.
Do you think that you've deviated to price action because it's the best strategy for you, or did you deviate because the most profitable traders you've known have used price action?
It's probably a bit of both.
Okay.
The fact that I found some legit traders from
Hey, you.
FX, so I
Welcome
could
to
tell
Best
knew their
TV.
shit and were kind of live trading, like in Trade SC's example, making money and having really clear and logical structural approach to the market. So kind of had an intellectual appeal to it, that appealed to me personally. So that's that box checked. But also just seeing them fucking call the market, trade it, etc. in real time, I could tell that this works. It's not just appealing on paper or as I said, intellectually kind of makes sense and feels good. It's just people were using it to make money. And I think another point is I'm quite a systematic person in general, and I was having a really fucking hard time building any sort of even as a discretionary trader, building any sort of system or set of rules based around indicators, especially when you have more than one. Like some of these big fucking Twitter accounts who come on like with 6 indicators on their charts, like Bollinger Band, moving average, like 3 momentum oscillators, all that kind of stuff. I have no idea how on earth they managed to create a trading system. Like I was struggling to incorporate one fucking indicator and build a half decent system with it. So I think the price action stuff on top of that kind of made that a lot easier.
Okay. Do you find people kind of wish-wash between strategies too much?
Constantly. Yeah, some of there are loads of accounts who will kind of do one thing for the longest fucking time, and then especially after Trader Main rolled up with the order block stuff, you fucking blink and their strategy is 180'd over time and no one says a thing about it. And it's like, and a lot of the time, I mean, what the fuck are you supposed to think, right? Like what kind of system did you have in the first place? If it's so, I mean, if you have a profitable system, just as a general point, if you have a profitable system or a system that has a positive expectancy, whatever the fuck you want to call it, you should be really fucking strict on when you tinker with it, right? Because if it's making money, you're doing something right. So if you change it, there better be a good fucking reason that you're changing a system that's got a positive expectancy of making you money. You better have some sort of testing, evidence, data, something you've learned, just some sort of basis. And that's the tinker with an existing system. Some people flip-flop, they'll jump from one thing to something completely fucking different that's just, on another planet. And that to me has always been very strange.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't fucking recommend it either.
Like just, then how could a person ever really find what works? Or you're just saying if someone's actually profitable, why mess with it? Not so much.
Yeah, exactly. I think early on, if you're going to jump around, do it fucking early on, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Like if you're going to hop around and try different stuff, that better be like really early in your development before you kind of ingrain certain habits, have a certain way of looking at markets, and all these things that are harder to reverse in the future. If you're going to system hop, do it early. It's just a lot of the guys that I'm referring to and just trends generally, people will do it like years into a trading career. They see something cool come up, something trendy, especially on fucking Twitter. It's terrible. Like a new indicator or a new piece of data, fucking funding, long shorts,
The T3
on the
CCI.
non-technical side of things, or new TA, like fucking ranges and blocks. Yeah, exactly. All this fucking bullshit. And they just hop. And you can tell that not much thought went into it, and that's not good. And it should really make you question someone who can just dilly-dally systems like that. Are they even? I mean, what the fuck's going on?
Someone earlier on stream asked if, as a new trader, is it better to follow various people and kind of sample what they're doing, or should a person completely tune out from Twitter and just, figure it out from scratch or from,
No, I think it's the first option for me.
Okay.
You kind of build a Frankenstein's monster of a system. Like, why put in the groundwork that other people fucking put in for you if they're somewhat reliable, trustworthy, decent, whatever? You're just that's just wasted time, So take the good stuff and, compile things that work, that are logical, and where people have done the work for you, and then you kind of build out and carve and mold your own version. But to go from like a fucking tabula rasa of knowing no TA and just learning it yourself from zero, just God knows how, by looking at a chart, I think that's a wasteful, for the most part, wasteful endeavor for someone just at the very beginning,
Yeah. Who are...
I mean, most of the people I follow tend to be decent, I think, for the most part. It really depends on your style as well. I know my mentors are, well, not my mentors. I mean, the people who I learned the early foundation stuff from are all good. There's a Medium article I wrote saying lessons from my trading mentors or some shit. There's some decent stuff there. On crypto Twitter, if you want the more automated side of things, I mean, Gainsey is a fucking superb trader who actually will post a lot of stuff that's actually accessible. Donald's really good. He'll explain his reasoning. Your Mr. TAs, even your Scarfaces, and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I mean, there's some decent guys. But I mean, even crypto Twitter is getting pretty fucking crowded in terms of how and what people trade. So Gainsey is garbage. How fucking dare you?
It's because
I know it's all going Thoreau. They're beefing. I love it.
Competition. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Thoreau, how's that competition going? Do you want me to invite him on, Cred?
No, fuck no, man. I can't. This guy is too fucking volatile for me at 2 a.m.
Fair enough.
When I'm back at home on my home setup, you can chuck the guy in.
You can chuck him in. Fair enough. He's like, put me on stream. Yeah, fair enough. But yeah, that was a good way of putting it. I think I learned a lot faster from being on CT than not at all.
But you're fucking lucky because you're seeing a different CT.
You think so?
There was fuck all.
Okay.
When I joined, if you want to learn TA, right? People would link baby pips.
Yeah.
There were a couple of really fucking old school, really smart accounts like Crypto Orca. But even then, they weren't kind of content churning as we have now. And then otherwise, if you wanted to learn from like the big accounts, whatever, first of all, it was a paid group always. 0.1 Bitcoin, right? That's how you fucking learn. And second of all, there was a lot of trash. In terms of what it's just mostly like chart pattern, etc. Like really,
people.
And there was again.
People were laughing at you for
What's
basic.
that?
People were laughing at you for doing PA and basic support resistance levels, right? And now everyone's
I
using
used to
that.
get fucking trolled. I used to get trolled for drawing levels, like horizontal levels on charts, because people, for the most part, were drawing, diagonals, not even just diagonals like trend lines, but specifically like chart pattern. Like every chart had a chart pattern. There's always a fucking chart pattern at play, which is obviously absurd now, but wasn't at the time. But yeah, no, it was a really weird time. So I guess for you, for people who are joining crypto Twitter now, there's more noise, but at least there is good stuff that you can actually fucking go and learn. Even as recently as mid 2017 or early 2017, whatever, that didn't exist. So yeah, I think in terms of is crypto Twitter a good place to learn? I mean, the answer is depends when you join, right? Mid early 2017, not really. Now, I mean, sort of, but kind of depends where you look,
Yeah, fair enough. Like, I remember in 2017 when I brought my friends in. At the time, I was like the person who knew the most, not because I knew a lot for sure, but then I discovered this place and I was like, wow, I'm a bozo. So for me, it's been definitely great. Um, just learning from the top accounts. And do you think that follower count means anything in terms of quality?
No, not really.
Okay.
No, absolutely not. I think after a certain point, if anything, there tends to be a fucking inverse
Inverse
correlation.
correlation. Right.
Um, because yeah, I mean, certain things you just can't really, or you'll become less comfortable with posting as you become a bigger account.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like I used to fucking spam setups constantly, like
Really? Yeah.
trades, like fucking everything. Yeah, I used to spam that shit constantly. But then as you get bigger and people put more faith into it and risk more, and you get more fucking shit in your face if a trade goes wrong, and you feel responsible, quote unquote, for more people, all that type of shit.
Mm-hmm.
Um, which is why, yeah, I used to think like, oh, all these big accounts, none of them ever post any fucking trades, and then you fucking get there yourself, and you're like, oh shit,
That's
this
why.
the risk reward on doing this is a total pain in the fucking ass. And again, I think it's one thing to post like a chart and say, I think we're going up, and then the idiots will treat that as a trade, and then if price goes up, they're like, oh, this guy's a
It's a
fucking
god.
genius. Whereas I hold myself to higher standards. If I'm going to post like a trade, I'll have a fucking target, an entry, and invalidation, all that type of shit.
Mm-hmm.
Because in terms of calling the market, in terms of making a tweet with a price chart and saying up or down, I mean, that's kind of some 50-50 bullshit, right? And that's not the difficult part of trading. The difficult part is
Managing it.
execution and management and defining your risk and fucking profit taking and all that shit, which is very hard, if not impossible, to convey and update live via social fucking media. So there isn't really much trading per se that goes on the platform, and I don't think it lends itself very well to that either. So big follower account. What can it / does it mean? Not much,
Hey, you.
right?
Welcome to
Not
Nice
much is my
TV.
answer. And do I think that there's a kind of correlation with quality? Um, Sometimes, but not reliably, I suppose would be my answer.
Interesting. Hmm. Man, I have so many questions, and now when you're here, none of them come up. You know how it is.
Oh, of course, man. Of fucking course.
Do you okay? How about do you have an alt account that you mess on?
I don't. I don't, mate. I sometimes I get really fucking tempted.
You really
Hey,
Um,
you.
to
Welcome to Bags
pull the
TV.
inverse, bro. The Stardust.
yeah, I think it's just Twitter's a lot of fucking work anyway.
It is.
Um, just even keeping up with it and all that shit. So I mean, doing it on a second account as well, I'd go fucking crazy, man. I'm already close to losing my marbles on a daily basis. I don't need double the reason to.
Do you find, dude, if you made an alt account, you'd be so easy to spot out of the crowd just because you have a certain way of
You think
writing.
so?
I think so. I mean, unless you were to change that around a bit, your sense of humor is very
Yeah, I mean, I think
unique.
I'd be able to disguise that shit.
You'd still be ratioing people, and you'd have 100 followers, right?
Fuck.
Tommy.
Yeah, I don't know. I know a lot of people who like. Go on.
Oh, I was gonna say Tommy Gufano wanted to ask about if you could dive a bit into profit taking on percentages at levels. This is a pretty broad question.
It's not something I do for the most
Mm-hmm.
part.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really reason in that way that I want to cut at certain levels and all of that. If I've got a level marked out, um, like a support if I'm short or a resistance if I'm long, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I anticipate that it's significant, and then I anticipate the price has got a reasonable chance of turning at that level. So for the most part, I do one strike type of shit. So I have one entry, I don't scale in. I'll have a stop loss, and then a specific level that I want to take profit at. Obviously, there's some dynamic or some fluidity to it. Like if price say comes within fucking $2 of my level and
Hey,
then
you.
starts looking
Welcome to
really
Bags
bullish
TV.
without hitting it, it
Yeah.
can manually close and do some evolving R shit, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, no, I'm not the kind of guy who'll enter a trade and have like 4 different fucking levels and say 25% of each, etc. That's just not how I look at levels, and also it makes having a trading journal so much fucking easier if you've just got, that one parameter set up.
Right, right. Interesting. So how often would you say you raise your stops, if ever?
If I get a good technical reason for doing so, I'll do it. If I
Okay.
don't, then I don't. It really depends how the price action plays out. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so some things don't really lend themselves well to moving your stop or stop management. Like really big fucking thrust candles don't tend to be amazing for moving your stop because simply how far price has moved from the
Mm-hmm.
actual structure itself. Whereas other times, if you get levels that are rolling over cleanly and lower lows or higher highs, whatever, depending on direction,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes market structure will be really neat and allow you to manage your trade in that way. Other
Right.
times it'll just be fucking ugly, choppy, and just not give you an opportunity. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so it's very, I mean, it's price action based. There are no rules about oh, I'll move to break even if X happens, or I'll take this much off if Y happens. I like to be consistent in that regard. If I'm entering a trade based on price chart technicals, I'm gonna fucking want to manage it on price chart technicals.
Mm-hmm. So to each their own flavor, I guess. Um,
Yeah. I don't have predefined rules for that type of stuff. Like, oh, move to break even if you're up 2R, like that type of stuff. It's just not something that's
right.
worked. I mean, I used to fuck with it a bit, but
Mm-hmm.
even without collecting too much data, it's just my trade management wasn't amazing.
Okay,
Um,
okay. Do you find there's a better time of season where you're really in flow with your hit rate, or just with trades, or is it
um,
just
not
like
not enough of a fucking sample size to tell meaningfully,
okay,
mate. Like a lot of people say that summer's really shitty, and a lot of big and good traders, certainly in forex, take the couple of months off in the summer.
mm-hmm.
That tends to be also because I mean, sometimes volatility dries up and ranges tighten as they have in FX the last month or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have enough data
Okay,
to kind of tell either way. It really just fucking depends. I think a lot of it ends up being psychological anyway. You tell yourself that summer is a rough month, then you trade like shit.
mm-hmm.
So I try not to think too much about it.
That's so interesting. You said that. Yeah, I was thinking that too. Like, is it shitty because people assume it's shitty, or is it shitty because I'm just shit during that time? But
Yeah, exactly. A lot of people just kind of take that as an excuse to take bad trades anyway. It's like, oh well, summer's a tough season. Here we go. Here's a shit trade.
man, Tommy G said, "Watch his evolving R video, Bagsy." Um, yeah, I think that's
It's
what we
a
were
Tom
talking.
Dante webinar on trade management. Talks about evolving R, how basically the R on a trade isn't something that's fixed once the trade starts moving,
Okay, okay.
right? So let's say you get, within random example, 5 pips of your stop
Mm-hmm.
after moving away from your entry. At that point, when your target is 5 pips away, and then let's say your stop is 20 pips away, that's not the same trade as when you entered,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because at that point, you're risking getting stopped out for the sake of 5 extra pips. The kind of risk reward fucking changes.
Goes up
Roughly
or
see what I'm
into
saying? I mean, I cover it in my risk management video as well. But it's
yeah.
basically the idea that a trade, the reward that the trade offers, and also the risk, it kind of works both ways, that a trade offers isn't static from the moment you fucking enter a trade. It
Mm-hmm.
changes depending on price moving towards your stop or away from or towards your target.
Do you think?
But yeah, I'll fucking DM it to you or something.
Do you think in that case someone is better like, at the start? Let's say finding their entry, stop loss, take profit, enter trade, and just let it ride, or do you think people should get into the habit
Yeah, I
of?
think early on, yeah, mate. I think for
Mm-hmm.
really early on for developing traders, that's what, yeah, kind of set and forget type of
Mm-hmm.
stuff because you are really likely to fucking for a myriad of reasons, both kind of TA based, but also just not TA based, like clicking the wrong fucking buttons and other, actual fuck ups.
Yeah.
There are a million and one ways that you can mess up trade management in that regard if you're
Leverage at
just
100x
developing.
by accident.
Yeah, all sorts of bullshit. I think it's still important to track over time how you
Mm-hmm.
perform. Like once you kind of get a feel for it, managing trades versus not managing trades, and just kind of see how it goes generally. I don't think there's any clear consensus or prescription. Some people will do better if they manage, and others
Mm-hmm.
fucking won't. It also depends on your trading style. Like if you're trading it more closely how I do with level to level, entry to trouble area type of stuff, a lot of the time there isn't an awful lot of space to manage in the first place, especially if there's no kind of directional bias or big swing idea. So that style in itself kind of lends itself well to less management. Whereas if
Okay.
you're like building bigger positions, bigger swings, if you're compounding and all that type of stuff, that'll obviously lend itself well to more management. So just gotta see what fucking works.
Nice. Yeah, I remember a while ago you came out with a video on, I think on the FTA, first trouble area, and I guess that would apply to the example you're giving right now, where your target is the first resistance or the first,
It would, yeah.
Okay, very cool. What qualifies as a reclaimed level to you? Asks Crypto Smock.
Watch my video is the answer. I know it's a cunt answer, but I mean, in that case, I've literally just dedicated a video just to answer that question. So,
Yeah, exactly. I'm out of questions, man. What are you doing
no,
tonight?
it's all good.
I'm gonna
Nothing, man.
chill
It's
the
two
sisters'
thirty. I'm
place?
gonna just.
What's your bedtime like,
Yeah.
man? Are you a vampire? You just stick to
No,
the
my
night?
schedule's really fucking good, actually.
Okay.
I'll typically not trade past the first hour of Asia, which tends to be like 1 in the morning, London time. And then I'm usually up at 7 or 8 in the morning. So London open-ish, not necessarily always before it, but near the open. So no, I'm pretty tuned in that regard, and it's a lot easier living in fucking Europe to cater to those session times.
Yeah, right. Do you train?
What about you? Are you a night owl fuck up or what?
No, man, I used to be, but I like being up pretty early now. Just my body's kind of shifted to that since since I introduced fitness into my life and all that. It's been kind of good.
Days feel longer, huh?
Days feel longer, exactly. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's an interesting way of looking at it. I definitely say that when your days have more stuff inside of them, they speed up. So it's been kind of both. Like since this whole Twitter bullshit, I don't know. Some days will just fly by, and others will just feel like death. And I can't tell if it's because of my general mood, because of the market. I know I know that humans are just complicated to start with, so I try not to bust my head about it.
Sure.
Do you train?
Yeah. I was gonna say, mate, there must be fucking million one reasons.
Yeah.
Do I what? Do I trade? No, fucking
no,
reflinks all day, mate.
No. Train, like physically train.
Yeah, man, I do.
You lift?
I've just been focusing on getting fit in the last year, to be honest. So yeah, that's been a part of it.
Okay. What kind of training? Weightlifting, martial arts?
Yeah, kind of resistance training shit. I've never been one for cardio. And I was really fucking fat as well, so the typical stuff that people recommend, like jogging, etc., just ends up being high impact and just fucks with my joints.
Of course.
So I'd rather not eat or kind of, create a calorie deficit of 300 via nutrition rather than burn 300 calories as a fat piece of shit. Do you know what I mean?
100%.
That always seemed quite obvious to me.
It's easier to keep your mouth shut rather than go on a treadmill.
It's been pretty crazy. I've lost like fucking... That's it, exactly. I'd rather just have less and not fucking... And also, it can adversely affect your lifting recovery as well, depending on the impact of cardio you do and how much you fucking do. I just didn't want to touch any of that. But yeah, I lost a fuck ton of weight in the last year, like 76 pounds or some shit, like some stupid number.
What?
So in terms of, so I mean, I didn't do any fucking cardio the whole time, aside from walking. That's something I do every day. I'll go on a long fucking walk, get like 10 kilometers in, which is, 10 kilometers, you must know what fucking 10 kilometers is. 10, 12 kilometers every day, just nice little fucking city, countryside-y bullshit, but no fucking running or biking or any of that stuff, man.
It's too much on the joints.
Yeah, man. I mean, thing is, it used to be, but now that I'm not a fat piece of shit, I've got no excuse, but now I kind of don't want to and don't need to do it, so I kind of slithered my way out of that one.
Yeah, fair enough. Man, I lost maybe 50 a few years back, so I can relate to the struggle.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I can relate. But man, like for everyone at home, it's possible. You just got to do a bit of research and stick to something that's easy for you to
Yeah, if I
maintain.
can fucking do it, you've got no excuse. Jesus Christ, man.
I can't tell how you view yourself,
Oh,
Cred.
see, Thoreau and I have something nice to bond over. He says, "Damn, good job, Cred. Keep it up. Thank you, Thoreau." See, fucking common ground, mate. Diplomacy.
So malicious. Did you not?
IF is a fad. Yes, he's correct. Fuck fasting. Sorry, Bagsy. What was that?
Oh, that's fine, dude. I fasted for a few years, man. Honestly, for me, it was really great. I feel like a vegan just now. Like, let me talk to you about veganism, okay? let me tell you why it's great. But did you ever try it, or it didn't feel good?
Thing is, I think the way I look at it is if it helps adherence, like if it helps you adhere to a diet, fucking great.
Interesting.
And that's got to be the
Welcome
first
back
and
to
primary consideration that when it comes to is a diet good or bad, well, does it help you fucking adhere or not? If it does, then please fast all you fucking want, right? Do I think it's ideal for someone trying to gain weight and build muscle? I think the research doesn't support that. But when if you're a fat piece of shit and just trying to lose weight and fasting works, your last concern should be, oh, but is this optimal for muscle gain or some shit, right?
Yeah, like either way, you're gonna lose muscle, if any.
Yeah, no, I mean, so no, fasting for me, dude, I didn't, I kind of didn't do it. But if it fucking works for you, great, man. But I think traders in general, I mean, I've lost a fuck ton of weight in like energy levels, focus, concentration, all of that shit's gone through the fucking roof. So you could also do it with, I'm sure, substances which aren't, not going to go down that rabbit hole. But I think there's something to be said for being in at least decent shape, even as a trader, because I mean, the mental clarity is really fucking significant.
Including that.
Of course, I agree, man. I don't know, bro, but I find the fucking like even when I get in like podcasts and shit like that, I try to. I mean, unless it's a specific trading podcast, I try to avoid fucking talking about charts, TA all too much because it's so fucking boring.
You do that all day.
And if you want charts and TA, I mean, that's literally what the fuck I've been doing for like all this time. You've got a fucking 40-page, 42-page study guide. You've got like tens of thousands of words on Medium. You've got like my fucking Twitter feed from forever. Like, go and enjoy that. Surely there's more to it than just discussing what's pretty obvious anyway. But yeah, Bitcoin wise, I mean, my view hasn't changed. I said we were at daily support. We went up and kind of tapped not much. So I guess we'll fucking see, right?
Yeah. For you, do you have not necessarily an exit plan, but are you kind of steering to a direction that'll one day be outside of crypto, or are you taking it day by day and seeing where that leads?
Yeah, I think day by day at the moment, mate. Not I mean, I'm only 22 as well, so probably a bit early to start steering too much.
Yeah.
I mean, I like it. It works. I've made some amazing friends and all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, it's fine for now. I certainly don't want to be like, I'm not going to name any names, but there are some gentlemen in the community that we share who are much, much older, let's say double my age, with a bunch of fucking, real life distinguished achievements who still act like they're fucking college kids in their 20s on Twitter. That's something I don't fucking want when I'm a grown ass man to be just fumbling around on social media like my fucking life depends on it. But I mean, whatever, right?
Do you still do you get a sense?
I just don't want to be a sad cunt when I'm older.
Do you still get a sense of fulfillment from being a part of the community and doing what you do?
Yeah, periodically. Not overwhelmingly. Wouldn't say it's a leading motivator type of thing. So I mean, it's a bit. I think I mentioned at the very beginning, kind of your content fatigue type of bullshit thing. I think it's very much that.
Hey, you.
But then every day I see shit that people are getting really wrong. or people that are teaching TA stuff and get it really fucking wrong. So I'm like, well, Christ, who's like, I almost feel. I mean, the whole thing about teaching makes you a better trader. It's true, but it's fucking exaggerated. Like the darkness guy who was saying that, oh, the reason I want to make $9,000 per student is to become a better trader myself. Like, come the fuck on, dude. Um,
You're doing
so
it
yeah,
for
in
a
terms of
Lambo.
sense of fulfillment, I mean, ish. It depends. I wouldn't say it's a particularly big factor nowadays, mate.
You have any mentors growing up?
Um, no, not particularly, man.
Okay.
I mean, my family's very cool. So I suppose I'm very lucky in that regard. Kind of nice household and very kind of fucking no bullshit, very serious. So I think that helps a lot. And a lot of the time, I think mentor roles kind of replace for any type of deficit,
Yeah.
deficit of authority or deficit of respect, whatever at home. So I didn't really have that. I was very lucky not to have any such deficits growing up. So I mean, I never gravitated or found anything particularly appealing in like a mentor type of role. What about you?
Um, like I come from a good a caring family too, so it it was never much of like I was looking for someone, but I met someone very briefly that changed my entire outlook on things. So I don't know if I can say.
Was it Shilnai selling you crystals?
How did you know, man? But, dude, I fucking love Nile.
Yeah, me too, man.
Yeah, but no. So you changed my outlook, and I'm asking myself, can I consider that a mentor if I only saw him for a few days, but he changed my outlook, or is it someone that's kind of stable through your life for a bit of time?
Yeah, I think the term gets thrown around a lot. I think for me, like a mentor needs to be in some way personally invested,
Mm-hmm.
uh, either in you or in your success in some way, and there's a kind of constructive, collaborative, overseeing function
Mm-hmm.
in it.
Mm-hmm.
At least the way I understand the ordinary English meaning of the term. So I never had anyone like that. But as for your experience, I mean, fuck knows, man. I mean, it's a nice thing to say, right? Kind of
Right.
call someone a mentor, because I mean, you can spend your whole fucking life with someone and then they don't change a thing about it or about you, and then you have your experience and fucking everything changes. So
Hmm. Do you think that the best people to have around you are the ones who do not necessarily make you change, but that can bring change about you?
I think it's more of a kind of be around people who aren't afraid to challenge you,
Mm.
both when you're wrong and also challenge you to be better, and all that kind of positivity, airy fairy, constructive bullshit stuff.
Mm.
But yeah, I mean, I think it comes down to accountability. Friends will tell you when you're wrong, and friends will tell you when you can and should do better. Like that shit's really valuable. No one wants, at least I think most people, they don't want an echo chamber or a bunch of fucking yes men and want to be you know, told things how they are.
Mm.
So yeah, I mean, to some extent, it's just accountability. I think that's what I mean. All my good friends, I know that if I step a bit out of line, they're not gonna. If it's
Mhm.
important, they'll fucking tell me.
They're not gonna stand aside and just let it be.
Yeah, watch the car crash and then pretend to pick up the pieces. Yeah, none of that.
I like that. Do you find in the UK there are a lot of straightforward people, like straight shooters? Um,
Some. I mean, it's a
it's a weird
huge fucking
question.
country.
Sorry?
I mean, it's a big place,
Yeah,
and I haven't lived in the huge variety of
gotcha. Places.
different parts of the
Yeah,
UK.
yeah,
But
yeah.
I think, yeah, my friendship circles, sure, no kind of bullshit. Say it
Hmm.
straight, because otherwise I can't deal with people like that, man. People who can't take criticism, people who can't have a constructive discussion without taking it personally, like all this general closed mindedness. I just can't fucking deal with it, man.
Hmm. Yeah, I traveled to Iceland for a week, and I met some of the most straightforward women, people. I felt like everyone there was just like on some other level. There was obviously this is my interpretation. I didn't meet a huge sample of people, but from the
Sure.
general consensus of what I saw and felt and received, it was like it was really direct, and I really appreciated that because I find there isn't much of that around where I'm from unless you really go looking for it. So that's one thing I noticed from the UK crew on Twitter, and I don't know if it's the same group of friends you're speaking about right now, but I find the UK guys are real straight, like Strong, Bicklow, yourself, a whole bunch of people. So it's nice to see that.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just it's a lucky bunch. I don't think it's necessarily indicative of the UK as a whole.
Okay.
I think we just managed to get some pretty fucking quality dudes
Yeah.
into that pack. Yeah, but I agree. Those guys, yeah,
Cause
definitely see like I mean, Strong especially. Jesus Christ, man! Like,
I fucking love him, man.
I mean, you can imagine what talking to him in private's like.
Dude, I don't even know, man. I don't want to assume anything, but he seems like a really great dude. Apparently he's fucking huge too.
Yeah, no filter whatsoever.
No filter.
Oh, yeah, dude's fucking massive. No filter, mate. Doesn't know what a filter is. Yeah. It's but the purity of it, I fucking love it, man. And he expects the same, which is great.
That's cool. Yeah, Alex is
like he can
another
tweet
person.
something or say, well, write an article or ask for my feedback or throw an idea at me, and I can be like, oh, Strong, you're being a cunt here. Or wow, this is the dumbest thing. Like, do not do this, or whatever. I mean, and he'll actually respond really well to that. Whereas the kind of snowflakey generation bullshit, they'd be very offended by that type of format and be like, oh, well, couldn't you have said it in a nicer way and all this typical kind of crap. So it's very, very fucking refreshing.
Yeah, one dude I really want to meet is Alex, Libertas.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man, I really want to meet Slothy.
Daily chain making moves.
Daily chain making, but he's one of the first people I connected with on CT with Tunes and Infamous. So he kind of started out together. So yeah, no, it's long before the Daily Chain, but it's really good to see people doing well. So I'm really proud of Alex as I've mentioned before. But
yeah, there's some decent stuff being built out. The standard's certainly gone up.
Yeah, no, and
in terms of what people are actually working on.
And there's like a new article every fucking like 6 times a day. So I'm like, where the hell is all this content coming from? And I guess that ties into what you were talking about before, when content was really like baby pips and just very dry or was only in paid groups. Now there are many media channels, many outlets, and the drawback is that there's so much information that you guys at home really have to study what you're taking in and draw your own conclusions.
Yeah, it's just like having the fucking internet, right? You can use it to access the history of humanity's knowledge, or you can fucking watch
Does Cred ever have plans to work outside of crypto? And if he does, what type of job would he go for if he had to?
Mate, if I fuck off from all of this, I'm just going to go back to law. It's pretty straightforward, I think. If I ditch trading, crypto, and all this crap, just go to law, get qualified, and be chained to a desk or whatever.
Are there times you think about it still, or would that?
Yeah, a lot.
What are the reasons?
Absolutely. I don't know. It doesn't tend to be terribly rational. I think when I just get burnt out, or if I'm on like a losing streak, or just generally quite stressed and frustrated, it's kind of one of those exasperated. Wow, even fucking, working in law would be less stressful than this type of thing.
Yeah.
But it's not. At least at the moment, at this exact point in my life, it's not like a very serious consideration or balancing act.
That's really.
But yeah, no, I do think about it.
It's cool that you have that though in the background. A lot of people, I don't know if they're done with school or what they've built into this, but law is a very respectable field, so I get that. Are you more into what type of law would you consider aiming towards?
Probably some corporate-y commercial bullshit. You know how it is,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Just to actually make some money for a change.
Yeah, exactly. Reinvest into your
because
trading
lawyers
career.
generally, I mean, oh god, dude, like, no, but like it was absurd, yeah, because I was, still finishing up my degree when my Twitter was still growing and getting a decent size, and I run, Bitcoin was obviously fucking tearing at the time, and I had people. I literally just had my final exams left, of part of a 3-year degree, and I had people unironically telling me that, oh, dude, well, why bother finishing? Why don't you just fucking drop out and like make a paid group? You can earn so much more money and all this shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought they were joking, but then a lot of them really weren't. For them, that was like actually a reasonable proposition
Really?
to drop out in the final weeks of a 3-year degree
That's
in order to
stupid.
make a fucking paid whatever the fuck. I mean, it's just surreal, isn't it?
Wow. Well, I'm sure you're happy you listened to yourself on that one. Fuck.
I did. I didn't. Yeah, fuck those people. I did not listen to them.
Dude, my uncle actually, he got all the way up to the bar, I think, and he just gave up. And I was never super close to him, so I can't say that I've had I haven't been able to walk in his shoes, but I could always feel there was a hint of disappointment in that, so I'm happy you didn't make that same mistake yourself.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, man. I mean, like my sister's like a qualified practicing lawyer or whatever, and she'll just sometimes come home, or when I'm visiting them in London or whatever, and she'll just be like, "Fuck this! I don't want a desk job. I want to do my own thing." Like Cred's doing, etc. And I'm like, "No, trust me, you don't." Like, there's.
Yeah.
So I mean, it kind of swings both ways, I'm sure. Yeah, I just shill her my study guide.
Man, that's fucking cool. Do you think your little bro's gonna get into law also? Is it a family thing or?
No, it's not a family thing. I don't know what the fuck he's gonna do. Because he grew up around adults. Because my sister and I are older, obviously, as our parents. He's really fucking bright, so he'd probably do whatever. I know for sure though that I'm keeping him far away from fucking trading. Like I will bear that fucking sin and burden in our family. I'm not gonna subject anyone I love to this endeavor.
That's funny.
Yeah, nobody deserves it.
Messiah is saying people told me the same shit while I finished school. Yeah, and I think you graduated computer science, Messiah, if I'm not mistaken, if I remember listening.
Tom Dante,
Tom Dante.
100%.
Okay.
Yeah, Tom Dante, like hands down, Tom. Like it's not even close. It's just.
I'll pull up his profile for everyone.
Full stop.
Quick. Trader Dante. There you go. Perfect.
Fucking great stuff. I was very, very, very close to quitting trading, speculation, TA, whatever, the whole market thing before I stumbled upon his stuff. So
really,
that's what kind of pulled me back, if you will. Yeah, 100%.
Huh? Pulled you out the depths.
Indeed, yeah. It's just I was at a point where nothing was working. Everything seemed like bullshit. As I said earlier, I've got like a systematic type of mind, and I wanted kind of logic and rules and systems and all this shit. And nobody had any. People were just fucking guessing and gambling the whole time. Yeah. And I was like, well, this is stupid. I'm not. What's up?
It's like all in. Just gambling.
Yeah, no, literally. And I was like, this is not for me. I'm not vibing with how this works. And then I came across his, the webinars, the modules on his website. Started watching those, and I was like, oh, fucking finally, someone gets it. Well, not someone gets it. I guess it was more kind of, this actually resonates, this makes sense, this is much more reasonable.
Yeah.
And I want to find out more, Yeah. So that's...
It was like the first real quality tutorial / lesson that you'd come across up to that point.
100%. And really it just cool. gives a realistic view about what trading is and what it fucking isn't. Just someone who actually contextualizes the whole endeavor for what it is, as opposed to selling you dreams or just whatever twisted version of the truth they have. I mean, if you watch some of his own videos on his YouTube channel, all of which I recommend, there's a really good one. There's just these pipe dreams and riches and Forex lifestyle type of crap. And he was like, it was one of the most refreshing things when I, just finally heard that this isn't like an easy thing to do. So I guess it was kind of similar in that regard as well, where it's not just like a specific TA trick or some other bullshit that opens your eyes. It's a more giving you a rounded view of what the fuck you're actually doing,
Yeah. Fucking A. So you heard it here first, guys. Tom Dante. if you want to study price action or whatnot. But
I'm just trading generally, man.
yeah,
The
trading.
business.
Business wise, who do you think is one of the top accounts outside of, let's say, trading? More just like Mongol good people in the space building. Is there anyone who sticks out to you?
I mean, daily chain stuff's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that seems to be going pretty well.
100%.
Um, Off the top of my, I mean, I'm kind of fucking running dry here in terms of just coming up with names.
Mm-hmm. I've been badgering you. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, people just the people I follow
Mm-hmm.
mostly are because I find something valuable or decent or cool in what they do. I haven't got that many people muted at all. Certainly nobody that I follow. So I guess if you want to comb through some content, I can think of worse places to start. But that said, I also follow tunes, so I mean,
And
they're
myself.
obviously
That
fucking
that's.
pitfalls.
I feel you follow me just to be able to ratio me every couple days or a week. It keeps
Oh yeah, hold your enemies close type of thing.
exactly.
Nice.
Yeah, but yeah, cred, dude. It's been real good having you on. I won't keep you on any longer, but
Sorry for my shitty fucking
ah,
internet.
nah, man.
Which is, trust me, 5 times as frustrating for me as it was for you. Um, but look, fuck, I don't know, dude. I'm happy to, in a couple weeks or in a few weeks, whatever. If
Mhm.
you want to do one when I'm at my desk and it'll be a bit more chart heavy and the usual bullshit people want,
Sure.
I'm more than happy if you'll have me to do
Yeah,
a non-shitty internet version.
dude, I'd love to, man. That'd be awesome, and I'm sure a lot of people would appreciate that. So, Mr. Cred, have a great fucking night, man. It was good having you on. I hope you
Likewise,
guys
mate.
at home enjoyed it. I know you're all following Crypto Cred already, but yeah, make sure you study all this stuff and follow who he follows. Have a great night.